C'est dans le livre Secret and Story of the Wars. En 1941, The Atlantic, Miss Victoria, by Patricia Strauss. In the grey drabness of Lambeth, the house with the yellow door stood out like a bright smile on a rainy day. During the early years of the war, 3 maiden ladies lived in this house. The Drummond sister, known to neighbors as Miss Jean, Miss France, and Miss Victoria. They were charming, simple people, fond of animals and often to be seen working in their little garden. Miss Victoria was tall, with a strong, gentle face, a quiet voice, and a painfully shy manner. Every now and then Miss Victoria went away. The neighbors assumed she was visiting friends. One morning in 1941, the people of Lambeth woke up to find Miss Victoria's name in the headlines. Lloyd had awarded her its medal, the highest award that can be given to men of the merchant navy, and one never before bestowed on a woman. Also, the king was conferring upon her the MBE. Miss Victoria, the papers noted, was the only qualified woman engineer in the British merchant service. The neighbors could scarcely believe that the fastidious retiring Miss Victoria had spent many months of her life in the hot, oily, noisy engine rooms of tramp ships. From childhood, Miss Victoria had shown a most ungirlish interest in engineering. Her Scottish parents, who must have been very understanding people, allowed her to serve an apprenticeship in the factory in Dundee. Actual contact with engines did not, quote-unquote, cure her of her unusual passion. She went to sea and served for a time as third engineer on a Blue Funnel Line boat running to Australia. When war was declared, she gave up a good job on land and signed on with the merchant navy. All through Dunkirk, she worked unfalteringly in the engine room of her ship. Then she went quietly back to her little house. Later, the crew of the Bonita, a merchant ship bound for America, were amazed to find that their second engineer was a woman. They were more amazed to discover that she was no amateur, that she could get greater speed from the engines than anyone else ever had. When they asked her to explain, she said, "Oh, I just talk nicely to them. You can coax or lead engines, you must never drive them." Which is not the kind of answer sailors understand. But 48 hours after they left port, the crew owed their lives to Miss Victoria. The Bonita was 400 miles from land when a Nazi four-engined bomber swooped down for the kill. Miss Victoria rushed to the engine room. The first bomb explosion flung her heavily against the levers. She picked herself up, called together the engine room crew, and gave them an order. It consisted of just 2 words. Get out. She gave them a chance for their lives, but stayed down there herself. An unarmed vessel was only one defense against a bomber. The ship must keep a steady course until the plane is in bombing position. Then the helm must be swung hard over so that the ship moves out of the path of the bomb. It is a matter of inches and seconds. Increased speed from the engine room would give the captain a chance to turn the clumsy hull quickly and thus outsmart the bomber overhead. And Miss Victoria was alone down in the engine room. One of the ship's officers, recounting the adventure afterwards, said, "In 10 minutes she had talked to those engines to such good purpose that our miserable speed of 9 knots had risen to 12.5. The bombing fractured pipes, split electric wire, and broke tubes. The main engine stop valve started a joint, and scalding steam whizzed past her head. With anyone less skilled down here, that pipe might have burst under the extra pressure, but she nursed it through each explosion, easing down when she judged from the nearness of the plane's engine that the bomb were about to fall, holding onto tension as they burst, and then opening up the steam again. I saw her once when I looked down the skylight to shout a few words of cheer to her. She was standing on the control platform, surrounded by spent machine gun bullets which had fallen through the skylight, one hand stretched straight above her head, holding down the throttle control, as if trying by her touch to urge another pound of steam through the straining pipes. her face as expressionless as the bulkhead behind her, was turned up towards the sunlight, but she did not see me. From the top of her forehead down her long face, completely closing one eye, trickled a wide black streak of fuel oil. 3 times the ship's swing under increased speed prevented the bomber from driving home the final death-dealing blow. Finally, bombs and ammunition exhausted, he flew away. Miss Victoria eased down the speed. The boats and decks were shattered and the ship was making water, but they were still afloat. When the Bonita docked in Virginia, the people of Norfolk heard the story from the man. Miss Victoria herself would never say a word about the affair. Greatly impressed, they sent $2,500 to the mayor of Lambeth to buy a mobile canteen, the Victoria Drummond Canteen, for use in air raids. It's condensed from Vogue.